To another installment of the Pick and Pay Winemakers Table. A very special evening this evening. It's with the Cellar Master, and I absolutely love having Cellar Masters and the real winemakers, the real guys behind the wine. I'm very privileged to be standing here with Mr. Tim Hoek from Haute Cabrière. We're going to have a fantastic evening. We're going to learn all about, specifically around the Pinot Noir Chardonnay blend, which is something which is particularly iconic with the Haute Cabrière brand. We're also going to learn how to make 3 different canapés, how to pair them with the wine, and just really have a great evening. So thank you very much to the Pick and Pay Wine Club for putting on these great events, and also thank you very much to the Pick and Pay online team who have delivered your boxes to your house. So you should have received your 3 bottles of incredible wine, as well as a picnic bag full of ingredients to make 3 incredible canapés. So what I want you to do before we get going at all is just get all your things ready, make sure that you've got all of your ingredients unpacked, and while you do that, I'm going to introduce Tim to talk a little bit about Haute Cabrière and about maybe some wines we're going to try tonight.
Thanks, Jonathan. Great to be here and welcome. At Cabrière, we've always said that Cabrière's wines is a true marriage of food and wine. So I'm excited about this evening. I think the meals we're going to prepare is amazing, and obviously the wines are going to be great.
Yeah.
Cabrière is obviously situated in the Franche Valley. We've been there since 1983.
Yeah.
From 1983 to 1994, we obviously just made sparkling wine under the Pierre Jourdan label.
Yeah.
And then from 94, when we built the cellar up against the hill, the tasting room that everyone knows,
yes,
is when we released our first still wines.
Okay.
Under the Haute Cabrière label, and obviously Haute, meaning higher, so it's higher Cabrière. Our bottom farm was called Clos Cabrière.
Okay.
That's the name.
And what does Clos mean?
Clos means enclosed.
Okay.
So normally it's a type of wall that the vineyard is enclosed with.
Okay.
But our bottom farm is completely enclosed by a river.
All right.
The Franche River completely encloses us.
Okay.
And different soil types as well, just sort of interest sake. Chardonnay on the bottom farm, very sandy loam soils.
Okay.
And Pinot Noir up on the top farm, very rocky clay soils.
Well, that's basically exactly what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be having a look at some incredible wines, and specifically also the iconic wine, which is the Chardonnay Pinot Noir.
Yeah, so we're going to taste 3 of our Haute Cabrière wines today. Chardonnay Pinot is going to be with our second dish. Chardonnay Pinot is celebrating 30 years this year. The first year was 1994. A fantastic wine. We'll talk about it a bit more while we're preparing the wine. But yeah, 77% Chardonnay, 23% Pinot Noir. Absolutely a wine made for food. Yeah. So looking forward to that.
Yeah, we're definitely going to be pairing all of these wines with 3 of these canapés. And as mentioned before, I want you to get your kitchen ready. I'm sure that you guys have also got all of your wine, that is obviously the rosé and the white, in the fridge, getting it nice and chilled. And there's also no reason why you couldn't also chill the Pinot Noir as well.
Exactly. It's one of the only red wines, or few red wines, that actually benefit from a bit of chilling.
Yeah, that's good. All right, so guys, also just a couple of things. Please do keep your cameras on. We love to see what's going on inside your kitchen. I can see everyone bustling around there, and you obviously got one head chef there and another sous chef. I don't know who's chosen to be what. But what I want you to do is I want you guys to organize your kitchen. So if you can get a pan onto the stove, we're going to just heat that up to a medium heat while we are getting everything ready. But just unpack all of your ingredients. You'll see that you've got 3 different boxes with a sticker on them. Obviously all those ingredients relate to each of those canapés. Unsnip all of the little bags, put them into little bowls. It's what we call in the kitchen a mise en place, which is basically getting your kitchen ready for all of the canapés. So yeah, I think that, what I would love to do is I'd love to try some wines, and I think that what is our first wine that we're going to be looking at today?
Yes, I was looking forward to you saying that. I'm getting thirsty out here.
Yeah.
So the first wine is going to be our 2024, so this year's vintage.
Okay.
Pinot Noir Rosé, 100% Pinot Noir.
Yeah.
And we like to use younger vineyards. So we've done quite a big replanting project at the farm.
Okay.
Since 2015, we've pretty much replanted 70% of our top farm.
Okay.
And we only use our Pinot Noir for our reserve wines, so for our top-end wines, 8 years and older.
Sure.
So we've been using 70% of our vineyard for our rosé, and I must say it's been quite nice using young vines, very fruit-driven, very greater acid balance and low pH for our rosé.
Yeah, I mean, I think that obviously does speak to what rosé is all about. It is all about liveliness. It's all about freshness and that sort of thing. So generally, would you generally use a younger vine anyway, always for a rosé, or do they sometimes use older vines?
No. So sometimes you would definitely use older vines, but it becomes a bit bit of more complex wine.
Yes.
Where our rosé, and we're going to taste it now, is much more fruit driven. It's got a nice body to it. It's all about the balance. Yeah.
Okay, well, fantastic. It's time that you crack that bottle, my friend. All right. So yeah, I mean, I think that from a rosé perspective, that color is incredible. It's light. It's almost like a salmon kind of peachy color, huh?
Yeah, so we mentioned before the show, rosé is probably one of the only wines you drink with your eyes.
Yeah.
So that color hue has to be perfect every time. Color consistency is always my pleasure. Color consistency is always key.
Yes.
Yeah, so we don't give it any skin contact. Pinot Noir picks up color quite quickly, not dark color.
Yes.
It picks it up quickly. So we literally just a whole bunch press straight through the destemmer.
Yeah.
Press it into the tank, cold settle overnight, and then start the fermentation.
Because the skin basically releases quite a lot of that color very quickly.
Exactly, yeah.
Is that because the skin of the Pinot Noir grape is, what is the difference between that, like a Pinot Noir grape and, say, for instance, a Cabernet?
Yeah, so Cabernet Sauvignon, the juice is incredibly white, and you get all the color from the skin. And the skin is a lot thicker and almost chewier if you bite the grape.
Okay.
Where Pinot Noir's got a very soft, delicate skin. So even though it doesn't have a lot of color, it extracts that color a lot quicker.
Okay, amazing. Well, let's definitely take a sip. Cheers.
Cheers, cheers.
And what are you picking up on the nose there, Tim?
When I taste this wine, I like to think strawberries and cream.
Yeah.
You definitely get that strawberry cherry flavor to it. That's 100% the Pinot Noir characteristics.
For sure.
But it's got this creaminess to it that I really enjoy.
Yeah, no, I mean, it is delicious. It really is. And I think that, the rosé category in South Africa really is growing. I think that within our warm climate and our South African way of living, which is generally a lot of outside entertaining around the pool, around the braai, I can only imagine. And this, I mean, I've seen it over the last couple of years. I mean, a good couple of years ago, the rosés that we used to get were the sweeter ones.
Yeah.
And slowly but surely, as the years progressed, they kind of started moving more towards that sort of Provençal style.
No, 100%. It's definitely a growing category in South Africa, and I think the style has improved.
Yeah.
It's a perfect summertime, lunchtime wine now.
It really is. And from a Pinot Noir perspective, from a Pinot Noir rosé perspective, what grapes are rosés generally, or is it quite often that they do use a Pinot Noir?
No, I wouldn't say Pinot Noir is often used. It's not a grape that carries a lot of volume, a lot of tons per hectare.
Okay.
So it's normally quite expensive grape as well.
Sure.
So majority of the Pinot Noirs that I've seen in the market is either Shiraz or Merlot dominant.
Yeah.
We are one of the few that make 100% Pinot Noir.
Well, it's absolutely delicious. It really is, guys. And so what I would love you to do as well is to get your kitchens ready. As I said before, we're going to be making our first canapé, which we are going to be pairing with this beautiful rosé. Now, when it comes to food pairing, it's about experiments. It's about working out kind of what will work with the flavor. And it's also about really being quite situational. You know, when we spoke earlier and we were saying that wines that you're sitting around a pool and you're drinking something in the hot sun, you want something that kind of would go quite well with that. So we've kind of played around with a few different ideas and we've come up with this one, which I think will work quite well, but let's see. But I think that we've tested and trialed and we're quite happy with it. So what this first canapé is, it's a bit of a take on a smoked salmon. So generally when you talk about smoked salmon, the classic combinations of that are always rye, it's always some dill, it's always cream cheese, maybe some onions. And so what we've tried to do is we've taken something which is so humble and so simple, and we've actually created our own vegetarian style little smoked salmon. So you'll see inside these bags, as I said, snip them open and you can see you've got these little slivers of carrot. And if you've got enough over there, you certainly will. Just have a little taste of one. And what you'll taste is a little bit of pickle, a little bit of sweetness, but also a little bit of smokiness. And how we've done this is we've shaved the carrot down, we've pickled it ever so slightly, a little bit of vinegar, a little bit of sugar, and we've also added a little bit of smoke essence. And it just gives that kind of indication that maybe you could be eating some smoked salmon. All right, but before we begin, same thing, you guys should have got your pans on the go. So I've got my pan over here, and I'm just going to heat it up to a medium to high heat. And what we're going to do is we're going to just give our rye bread a little bit of a toasting. So you'll see over here, this is your little rye toast over there. And what we'll do is we're going to put that into a pan with a little bit of butter. Very, very simple. And all these flavors are very simple. And it's, in my mind, just conjuring up a feeling of summertime, a little bit of lightness. I'm sure that this wine would work particularly well with a nice fresh salad. Something, a Thai salad would work quite well with this.
No, exactly. I was quite worried when I read the menu and saw carrot, because carrot is notoriously hard to pair. We had a taste earlier as well, and that smokiness that comes through, I think it's going to work incredibly well.
Good, good. Well, I hope so. I'm sure it will. It's going to work out while my pan's going. Okay, cool. So we're just going to take our rye bread and we're going to pop it into the pan, and we're just going to give it a little bit of a toast. You don't need to worry about it burning or getting it under. It's just basically just to give it a little bit of a toast, and what that does, it just gives it a little bit of texture. And then when we are creating canapes and doing food, it's always very important that we think about textures as well as flavors. Okay, so give that a little bit of a toast. Here we are, and flip it over. You'll see it's just nice and toasted on each side. There we go. Pop that there. And then we've got a couple of other little bits and pieces which are going to go into here. So this, as I said, is a little dill cream cheese. Very simple. Just use some dill, fresh dill, beautiful, beautiful flavors. I absolutely love dill. And that's just basically mixed with a little bit of cream cheese. So we'll pop that onto a board. There we go. I reckon that this should be perfect. You can just see it's toasting quite nicely. And we'll put that onto our presentation board there. So you'll see you've got a little board over there. I'll move that over there so you can see. And then now we're going to start building our campaign. Do you cook at home?
I buy at home.
Good. That's
my wife's the chef at home.
Oh, is she?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah?
Yeah.
But there's nothing like browning a little bit of meat as well, huh?
Exactly.
Okay, good. All right. So as I said, you've got this little piping bag. Everyone see this? All right, this is basically going to be our glue, and it's also going to give a nice creaminess to the dish as well. So I'm just going to take this, and I'm just going to do some nice little dollops around here. 3 or 4 or 5, just in all the corners. There we go. 1 or 2 smaller ones. There we go. And I'll let you guys keep up a little bit there. And once you've got to that point, we'll come back to basically everyone coming to there. As I said, I really want to see what you guys are doing. So keep your cameras on. I can see everyone busting on. Very, very good. So from a Pinot Noir perspective, obviously, do you grow any other grapes on the farm, or you?
No. So on our property, we only have Chardonnay and Pinot Noir. The interesting fact, we're not showing the one today, but we actually got the second oldest Chardonnay vineyards in South Africa, planted in 1983. So 41-year-old vines. We do make a special wine from that in amphora pots, terracotta.
Yeah.
So maybe in the next show we can show those wines. Bottom farm, sandy loam soils, deep soils, great old Chardonnays, and we've done a replanting there as well. And up on the top, 100% Pinot Noir. Only about 13 hectares of vines, but really rocky clay type soils.
Yes.
So completely different soil types, completely different cultivars, and we farm the two completely
differently.
Yeah.
And then they all come together in the cellar. Eh?
Exactly. And that's when the true marriage happens. Yeah.
And so you've been the Cellar Master for what, 10 years? Eh?
I've been with Cabrière for 10 years. I've been the Cellar Master for 2 years, but always been in the cellar. Trying to create as much magic as we can. Takwan's son, Achim's son, Takwan, is still very much involved with the business. I've taken over from him. And then Achim, our founder, is still very much alive and kicking in that area.
Incredible.
I don't know if any of you met him, but he is such a character. If you have met him, we'd never forget. He's 80 years old now. Taking life a bit easier now, smoking cigars, painting, just enjoying life.
Living the life.
Yeah, keeping us on our toes.
Still living on the farm?
Still living on the farm, 300 meters from the cellar. So,
incredible. Keeping an eye on what you're doing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
All right, good stuff. All right, so now I hope you have all caught up. You've got your nice little bit of toasted rye. You've got your dill cream cheese on it. And now what I want you guys to do is just take these beautiful little carrot locks. So basically, locks is a word, I don't even know where it comes from, but it's probably like a Scandinavian, Norwegian word, but it basically means salmon. So what we're going to do is we're going to call these little carrot locks. And I want you to make little cylinders like that, or you can turn them and make little waves if you want to, but I'm just going to make some few little cylinders. They'll probably open up quite nicely on top of there, and I'm just going to place them around on top of our rye bread. And so we'll just pop them ever so slightly there. You can do little ribbons that kind of run through it. Get quite creative if you want to. Do some more loose ones, and that just gives it a bit of height. It's always nice when you're creating these kind of canapes to do a little bit of height. It gives the dish a little bit of interest. There we go. So imagine that's a little bit of smoked salmon, but this is something slightly more new age, slightly more interesting. Okay, so place that down over there. That just gives it a little bit of a sweetness and a little bit of smokiness. And then what we've got here is we've got our, there we go, some little pickled red onions. Amazing. And so people think also red onion or onion has got quite an astringent kind of oniony taste, but if you pickle it, very, very simply, same thing with a little bit of sugar and a little bit of vinegar, a little bit of water, it just really retains all that crunchiness, and then it really just gives it a nice, sweet, different crunch to it. So I'm just going to pop these scattered around very so slightly over there. Gives it a bit of color too. As you said, when we drink with our eyes, we certainly do eat with our eyes as well. And then to finish it off, we've got these cute little crispy capers. So all these are little caper berries that we've deep fried. You'll see a little kind of silicone gel thing into it. Don't eat that, please. That's just to keep them nice and dry. These are beautiful. Taste one of those. They've got a real little punch. They've been salted, so they have got quite a nice little salty flavor to it. But it's got amazing. It's cool, eh? Nice little crunch. And some nice little salty element. And we're going to place those around on top. And as I said, it's all about different textures, and it's all about different flavors, and it's all about basically building these up into what we want to kind of have the end result. So there we go. Mine is done. I'm going to turn it around so you can kind of see. As I said, I really want to see what you guys are doing at home. So please do take photos and post to social media. As I said before, there is a prize which you can win 300 rands or 300 rands worth of smart shopper points. Please do use the hashtag PNP Wine Club as well as the hashtag my Haute Cabrière. So you say Haute, but you write it with an H. Huh?
Haute Cabrière with the H.
Exactly.
Correct, yeah.
All right, so there we are on the screen. So my Haute Cabrière and PNP Wine Club, use those hashtags, post to social media, and stand a chance. Also, ask us any questions you'd like as well. There's a comment box below. Type any questions that you might have for myself, anything about the food, or any questions you might have for Tim about the wine. All right. But I think when it comes to the pairing, let's start off with a good sip of our rosé. Let it go all around the mouth. And once you've done that, I'm going to hand this over to Tim. And you can do the little taste test. It looks
Thank you, chef.
Quite cool.
It looks amazing.
And I always like to add, when we're doing something like this and you're pairing with wine, I always like to add, especially if it's a vibrant, quite lively wine, I like to add something quite nice and creamy to kind of cut through the acidity, kind of will cut through the creaminess. But look, I'm going to give it over to the Cellar Master to tell me what he thinks. He's taking a little sip.
That's amazing. I love the saltiness that I can't even remember what the last
capers.
Yeah, but it's not your standard caper. It's a bit saltier. Absolutely amazing. Those carrots, the smokiness is great. Normally carrots come across quite sweet as well, but I think as you pickle them, it definitely softens all of that. The creaminess from that dill, it works really well. Obviously, I mentioned that strawberries and cream in the beginning.
Yes.
And I think the follow through, I took a little sip afterwards, but you never lose the flavor of the wine.
Which I think is important as well.
They just complement each other all the way through.
Exactly. So that's a good point that you make when we're talking about pairings. You want to have that next sip, but you also want to, for that next sip to really kind of still let the wine speak for itself.
And the food, vice versa as well. The food must also follow through on that.
All right, good. Well, that's great. So I want to find out how you guys enjoyed that. Do use the comment box below. Ask us any questions. Give us some thumbs up. We'd love to find out exactly how you guys are doing it. Anyway, if you aren't taking photos and you don't want to do that, the prize could be yours if you ask a really great question as well. So, perfect. I'm going to hand that back there. And yeah, what a wine, I must say. This is something that certainly, I think, as summer coming, it's definitely going to be a popular one. For the
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Magic. All right. Good stuff. So now onto the wine that is really become an iconic wine for Haute Cabrière.
Yeah, listen, when you chat to customers of Haute Cabrière, they all, first of all, have a story of Achim back when they were visiting the cellar. So Achim was brought sobraging to South Africa. He actually opened the Cape Town Stadium by sobraging
I didn't know that.
6 litre. Yeah.
Really?
So we were one of the first farms to do that. They got a story of Achim, or they got a story of how much they love our Chardonnay Pinot.
Yeah, yeah.
It's even referenced not as Chardonnay Pinot, or just as Haute Cabrière, or the Geel Doppie.
Really, yeah.
Every single time, yeah. So quite a legendary wine. It really it has become a bit of an icon.
Yeah.
So I'll move that there. As you mentioned, 77%, or as I mentioned, 77% Chardonnay, 23% Pinot Noir. We handle the grapes completely differently. So we pick the Chardonnay.
In two different areas for a start.
Exactly. Yeah. So we pick the Chardonnay, we ferment it, we age it completely separate. We pick the Pinot Noir. Let me pour a glass.
Yeah.
Very, very light color extraction. We try and keep it lighter than a rosé, if not the same color, but normally a touch lighter as well.
Okay.
Just because we just want the flavor profile, we don't really want much more color extraction.
Sure.
We want this to be still classified as a white blend.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, it's.
And how, just out of interest, how would you rate it as a white blend versus not? Like
so white blend is so vast.
Yeah.
You get from the Bordeaux to the Rhone styles. That's much sweeter.
Yeah.
So that's a tricky question.
Yeah.
I do love a good Sauvignon Blanc Sem blend,
Yes.
but I think from drinkability perspective, this in the white blend category is on another level.
Yeah, 100%.
So when I brought in, so Taquan, Achim started the blend 94. Taquan took over, I believe, the cellar in 2011. I joined the team in 2014. And each of us brought a different little aspect to the wine. A little bit of, not revolution, just a slight evolution every year. And I brought in extended lease aging. So we don't work with any residual sugar. All our wines in the cellar are bone dry. So residual sugars of under 2.
Sure.
But the extended lease aging and the slight batonnage just gives it a bit more character and a bit more volume.
What is slight batonnage?
Slight batonnage is when you basically go in and you put a mixer on, or take your barrels and you put we call it a barrel stirrer.
Yeah.
And you just bring up that fermentation lees back into the wine and mix it, and just it gives it a bit more character.
Got you. Yeah.
So I started doing that or implemented that in 2015, and I believe it's made a huge difference.
Yeah, no, it is incredible. Yeah. We've got a good question here. Are there certain wines, grape varietals, that pair very well with salty food? For example, as capers in the canapé. Can I answer this question?
Please go ahead. Yeah.
You'll be very surprised. I've always experienced a pairing that is so super simple that works particularly well with champagne. And I spent a lot of time in France and I drank a lot of champagne, and one of my favorite pairings of champagne is literally a salty, plain salted chip. It really is, and that saltiness works particularly well just with any sort of really nice, quite dry brut. So that is something that works particularly well. So get yourself a bottle of the Pierre Jordan. Which one maybe?
Yeah, no,
so the brut.
Standard brut.
Standard brut. Yeah. That would work particularly well with something super simple and salty. It really does work well. You'll be very surprised.
I think it is that higher acid that will work with the saltiness, the acidity of it.
Yeah. Chips and champagne.
Exactly.
All right, cool. Yeah, so let's try this. So as you said, it's very interesting that there is obviously 23% Pinot Noir, but the color doesn't come through.
No, so if you compare it to a white wine, say you've got your Sauvignon Blanc, you will pick up a slight pink hue to it, but it is very slight.
Very, very slight, yeah. Lovely. Yeah, I mean, that is really, that is nice. And it's not your typical, I mean, so this is unwooded, right?
Completely unwooded.
Yeah, and see, that's something that is interesting, because I think that, I don't know, like over the last little while, I think that there's been a movement just from what I'm hearing and talking to people, that they prefer a more lighter wooded, maybe unwooded Chardonnay than the heavier, bolder, caramelized kind of Chardonnays.
Yeah.
And this is...
So I mean, 1990s to early 2000s, it was the ABC group, anything but Chardonnay.
Yeah.
And that's when we went through that period of really heavy malolactic fermentation, caramel, butterscotch,
Yes.
a lot of new oak.
Yes.
And there is a market for that still. Some guys do it incredibly well. It's just not the type of style that Cabrière likes to make.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, look, I like this. I really do.
I
Okay.
hope you guys do as well, yeah.
Okay, perfect. All right, so I think that what we're going to do is we're going to have a look. You can just stand over here, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to just start explaining to you guys about the next canapé. So the next canapé, when we're talking about this really nice Chardonnay Pinot Noir, we want to really get involved in what, in my mind, some Mediterranean flavors. And the Mediterranean flavors, same very kind of thing that we were talking about in the first one. We're drinking a wine that's light, it's vibrant, there's a lot of kind of character, but also we want to be talking about kind of like these, I feel like it's almost like an Italian kind of style. So you'll see in front of you, in your bags, in your boxes, that we've got these courgettes. And these courgettes, in the same kind of way, we've kind of pickled them. So we've also added a very nice sort of light pickle to it. We've also got some really great roasted red pepper. Absolutely love this roasted red pepper. If you take a red pepper and you eat it just raw versus something that's been roasted, the concentration of flavors, it's sweeter, it's so good. All right, so this, as I said, is a bit of an ode to the Mediterranean kind of feel that I think that this wine lends itself to.
100%, yeah. Looking forward to it.
Okay, good. So what I want you to do, you'll see these over here. You've got quite a lot of them, so you can choose how many you want to do. I'm just going to do 2 for now. Then we've got over here, we've got some balsamic, Pick and Pay balsamic cream cheese. And this is obviously available at Pick and Pay in a little tub. And all we've done is we've just basically put this into a piping bag for you. So snip off the end of the piping bag. There we go. We are going to basically pipe this into the middle section of here. So if we can get the camera in here, I'm going to show exactly how we're going to do this. We're going to pipe it right on one side, a good healthy dollop on one side, just like that. And on the other side, so probably about 3/4 of the way up, if you can see that. Yeah, you can see that. There we go. All right, and so now while we're still focused on that, we're also going to take these really beautiful roasted red peppers, and we're going to pop them on top. Add quite a lot, so you want to be quite generous with this, because this really is, it just adds so much beautiful sweetness and kind of smokiness to that as well. And we're going to add a fair amount of that on there, and that too. And this is called an involtini, which is basically just like a little roll that they do in Italy. And that can be done with any sort of vegetable. You can basically use an aubergine, you can use anything else you want to, but today we're going to be using these beautiful little courgettes. You can do this at home if you want to do it with fresh courgettes. You can do it, as I said, with aubergine, grill them if you want to, anything like that. Okay, so we've got our caramelized onion dip, we've got our roasted red peppers, and all we're going to do is we're going to just roll these up. There we go. Get the camera on there. It's going to roll them up ever so slightly, just like that. Roll them up, tuck them in, just stands beautifully like that. And the next one, there we go, like almost like a little vegetable cannelloni. Okay, now if you were serving these at a canapé party, you can also throw the little stocky inside there, and then you're basically ready to go. Now, you can end there, but we're not going to finish there. What we're going to do is we're also going to add something else, and this is a little citrus aioli. And the citrus aioli is a very fancy word for just saying that it is reduced lemon and a reduced orange mayonnaise. Okay, but this is cool because also, as I said before, I think that this wine also has quite a bit of zest. It's got quite a bit of life,
exactly.
and it also needs a little bit of creaminess in there as well. So this I'm going to put onto my board, ready to, here we go, on my little presentation board. And this you can do ahead of time if you had a canapé party, and you can get these all ready for all your guests when they arrive. And what we'll do is we'll also here, similarly, we'll just do some nice little dollops of this on the top, and that just gives it a kind of nice, adds to the citrus notes of the wine, and then it also gives it a nice creaminess. Okay, and then the last but not least, you'll see these nice little butter toasted hazelnuts. So it's simple, you probably pop it into a pan, a little bit of butter, give it a nice little toss around, and that is all that happens. So if you want to take a little teaspoon if you wanted to, or just take your fingers, and you can literally just pop that on top, and that gives it a nice little bit of a crunch, and it also gives it a nice, good flavor. Okay, so look at that. We're all done there. It looks quite impressive. It's super simple. As I said, if you wanted to do this at home for a canapé party or a dinner party, you can make these well in advance, and it would work particularly well. So yeah, this is incredible wine. It really is. And we've seen this massive bottle here. I think that that is a Magnum. And a Magnum is a double bottle. Is that right?
Yes, 1.5. They say the Magnum is a perfect bottle for 2 people if one person's not drinking.
That's a great one. That is good. Yeah, and you can purchase the Magnums.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, so the Magnums are we bought a couple every year. The 3 liter, obviously, the Jeroboam is for the special iconic 30-year celebration. So I hand bottled those about 2 weeks ago and waxed them. It was with the first bottling of our 2024 Chardonnay Pinot that we filled these.
Incredible. Yeah. So when Armand when he first created that this blend. Was there a story behind that, or he just decided, you know what, I think that still wine is the way to go, or how did that happen?
Yeah, well, it's quite many happy things happen by accident.
Yeah.
So this has become a true icon in the wine industry, and every year it still grows year on year. But how this actually happened in 1994? So as I mentioned earlier, 83 to 94, only made sparkling wine and only at the bottom farm.
Yeah.
In 94, we purchased the land, or in 91 purchased the land, and in 94 started building the cellar up on the pass where the tasting room and cellar is at the moment. And as it always is, builders were late. Harvest was incredibly early that year, and what should have been harvested at a very low sugar level, potential alcohol for sparkling wine.
So he was only producing sparkling wine?
Back then his idea was he was going to produce a red wine, Haute Cabrière Pinot Noir Reserve, which actually got 5 stars that year. It was a Platinum 5-star. But he wasn't going to do a white wine at all. Yeah.
Okay.
And then what happened was when the grapes came in, he realized that 60% of his harvest was at a too high potential alcohol for sparkling wine. It was at about 12.5%. And normally
is that too high?
Normally we pick it, the potential alcohol for base wine before second fermentation is about 10.5%. And then you get that extra 1.5% during the bottle fermentation. Yeah.
Okay, all right.
So then he bottled it, literally it was 1 tank, 6% of his production, bottled it, shared it with friends and family. And from there, they absolutely loved it and it became the icon we know today.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
Really, really good. And so you also do a Pinot Noir Chardonnay as well.
Yeah, but that is under the Tranquil labeling.
Yes, so still obviously made, you do that.
Made by our team, made at Haute Cabrière, bottled at Haute Cabrière. So we actually do everything on site. We don't outsource anything at all. We do have to, because of our volume, we only got 24 hectares of vine. So we buy in grapes here, there, and majority in the Franschhoek Valley, but a little bit outside as well, especially for the sparkling wine, because obviously there are regions that really... It complements sparkling wines.
Definitely.
So we do enjoy that, but we are very Franschhoek based. So whatever Chardonnay and Pinot Noir I can buy in the Franschhoek Valley, I do buy it. And then we obviously do the Tranquil, which has a slightly lower alcohol than our Chardonnay Pinot, 11.5% compared to the 12.5% that we have here. So we do pick it a bit earlier, and that is a 6% Pinot Noir, 40% Chardonnay, and that definitely has a bit more of a blush color.
It does have a definite blush color. And so there's a question is why does the Pinot Noir in the Chardonnay not turn the wine pink?
Yeah, so we really, the 23% that goes in here, we really try and treat that as quickly off the skins as possible. So it really is a very, very light rosé. It's still a rosé, but and then once you blend it and fine it, so we have to fine all our wines with a bit of bentonite. It's a type of clay, it just settles out, and it's for protein stability. So if we didn't do that, you get wine that once it gets to 25 to 30 degrees in the room, it will drop that bentonite out and the wine will become hazy. So we have to protein stabilize our wines. And that also then strips a little bit of color in the process as
Okay.
well. Okay. But if you got a little white wine in your fridge at home, just go and compare it. You will definitely see the pink hue.
You can see it. You can see it actually, in the glass on the side. You can definitely see it. It's going there. All right, guys. So I hope that everyone has caught up and they've got their little canapes ready. As I said, please do take photos. We are checking on social media, and we are also making sure that we do have 3 winners using the hashtag PNP Wine Club, as well as the hashtag My Haute Cabrière as well. Do post. We'd love to see it. All right, and so I'm going to hand these little numbers over. You can try it.
I'm excited. Yeah.
There we go. I love the fact that it's also got some of those nuts, and we were, when we create these canapes, we really do try to balance not only flavors but textures as well. So if we hadn't added something like a nut, everything's kind of the same texture. So it's so important to add a little bit of a crunch, and it doesn't matter what it is. So when you are creating any dish, it's just important to kind of have a look at those textures and make sure that you end off with something that is going to kind of give a differentiation from a mouthfeel perspective.
That's amazing.
Huh?
Yeah.
You like it?
Yeah, so one of the characteristics of Chardonnay is obviously that lemon zesty character. It's from a younger Chardonnay. And that lemon aioli really just speaks to the wine. So fresh, so vibrant. Love it, yeah, well done.
Good, well I hope you guys enjoyed it as well. As I said, you can certainly use fresh courgette, you can use anything else if you want to. It's just basically playing around with some nice Mediterranean flavors. So another question, I love these questions coming through. How long can you age a Chardonnay once you have bought it, and does aging change the taste?
Yeah, good question.
Yeah, that's a good question.
So the change in bottle aging has actually made a huge difference. We've got a lot more tools in our toolbox to make sure our wines don't age as quickly. So obviously in the old days, sulfur was the only thing that they had, and the more sulfur you add to the wine, the longer it ages, but also then it won't drink very well for the first 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
Nowadays we have tannins, Arabic gum, like really cool oak-driven products.
Yeah.
That just help the wine age better, and also it gets rid of that bottle shock when we bottle.
Gotcha.
So that's the first step, getting to bottle safe and sound with a low sulfur level, but as little oxygen as possible.
Yeah.
Under screw cap as well. So corking, the way we've closed wines in the last 10 years has changed dramatically.
That's changed things dramatically, but it's changed the name. It changed the game. It really has.
Yeah, it obviously makes it easier at a picnic or during a quick meal.
But also from an aging perspective.
Yeah, no, exactly, yeah. So do yourselves a favor. I just want to give you guys a little bit of this is called a tin liner. You get different, so some guys use like a little plastic liner, but that actually is a complete inert tin. Yeah. This wine, and we actually spoke about it before the recording as well. Chardonnay Pinot and Chardonnay itself can age, but since you put it on a screw cap, it's an inert product. No oxygen transfer as well at all. Yeah. So Chardonnay Pinot itself, I've drunk this week. I've drunk 2017, so 6-year-old. Yeah. Still perfect. Yeah. It does change color a little bit. The Pinot Noir becomes a little bit darker. Yeah. But not in a pink hue. The slight more yellow hue. The flavor profile is still very, very Chardonnay and Pinot Noir.
Exactly, and there's certainly nothing wrong with it. And so we were talking about it earlier, and how people suddenly feel if the color has suddenly changed in a white wine, that this wine has gone. This wine has gone off. But it certainly hasn't gone off, and you should try it, and you should actually age a white wine for a couple of years and see it, because it certainly does change characteristics. No, exactly. But it also changes sometimes for the better. Sometimes you just get that more kind of like, I don't know, that stewed fruit or that kind of more caramel flavor. The color does change, but there's certainly nothing wrong. Look at it almost as a different wine. Try it out, and it's quite interesting, and it's quite cool. I do quite enjoy doing that. I quite like drinking.
Buy 2 or 3 cases every year. You open one. 12 years later, you'll see the difference.
Exactly. All right, good questions, guys. Which is the best corkscrew or bottled stop? Well, look, I think that look. I don't know. Like I'm a fan of the screw cap, to be perfectly honest with you. Everyone has their kind of like they're nostalgic. The cork.
Yeah, great. It's always special to pop a cork, but even the cork has changed nowadays. Technology is a lot better. The scanning for TCA, so the cork taint has gotten a lot better as well. So we're getting less. In the olden days, in the early 2000s, 6% of wines that were under cork were cork tainted.
Really?
That's
a lot.
That's a lot. Yeah, that's one bottle out of every 6-pack, basically, 12-pack.
Yeah.
So that technology's gotten better as well. The oxygen transfer on corks has gotten better.
Yeah.
But I think to answer that question, I think it's your style. Put the closure on the wine that complements your style better.
Yeah.
Haute Cabrière, this is what we call our lifestyle brand. It's made to be enjoyed for life moments. Crack it open at a picnic, have it.
Exactly.
We want to make it easy. We bottle it to be drunk immediately.
Yeah.
It doesn't need that development under bottle.
Yeah.
The 1983 Chardonnay we spoke about, that goes under natural cork.
Yeah.
But that is a product that you want to lay down for 10 years, and we want that slight oxygen transfer to develop it.
Exactly that. And so that is a very good answer, because you sometimes do want to have a slight oxygen transfer.
Exactly.
When you are aging like that. You do have the risk, because sometimes it might be too much oxygen or something might happen, but you do want to have a slight oxygen transfer.
100%.
Lovely. Okay, guys, that is fantastic. We are going to move on to another, actually, in my mind, really, one of also the Haute Cabrière's iconic, the Pinot Noir.
Yeah.
So this is a Pinot Noir, unwooded Pinot Noir.
Unwooded Pinot Noir, correct, yeah. So, new vintage as well, 2024. We've just released this one. As the name suggests, unwooded, so 100% stainless steel tank, aged and fermented, or fermented and aged. This is the perfect introduction, if you do not know Pinot Noir, to show someone what the true characteristic of Pinot Noir is.
Yeah.
Strawberry, sour cherry. You get a bit of on this. I'll actually have to pour it for you, but you're going to get a bit of dark fruit as well, not just your standard.
I'm gonna move that out the way.
Your way, thank you. Not just your standard ripe fruit. And it is just such a fun wine to make. Once we destem it and put it into our fermentation tanks. So this is obviously fermented on skins. We don't drain it off. We give it at least normally 10 to 14 days. But the idea is to take it off the skins about 4 days before it's finished fermentation. Just because right at the end, when the alcohol is a little bit higher, it starts picking up a bit of tannin.
Got you.
And that's something we don't want on this one. We want it very soft, very fruit-driven. The wine must speak to you.
Cheers. Yeah. I mean, you look at it as well, and you can look through the glass. It does. And I've always said this about a Pinot Noir. Like, people think that a Pinot Noir, because of its color, has no complexity.
Correct. Yeah.
But it really, it's totally opposite. There is still a huge amount of complexity when it comes to Pinot Noir. And if you taste it, you would never call it a light wine.
No.
Because it isn't a light wine. It's a wine that's still got a huge amount of complexity, some really great characteristics, but it is a wine that you could drink half a bottle at a lunchtime.
Exactly.
It is, because it is slightly less in alcohol.
Yeah, this is also 12.5%, it's the same as our Chardonnay Pinot.
Yeah.
And for a red wine, we're fortunate Pinot Noir is phenolically ripe, so it's got the right ripeness level at quite a low balling. But we can make a really nice wine at 12.5%.
Yeah, it is fantastic. And it's nice that it's, as you said, this is the 2024 released, picked, released in the same year.
Exactly.
Yeah. No time on the barrel. It's a good complex, but it's still very, very easy drinking.
Yeah, and a great price point for a Pinot Noir as well.
Yeah, fantastic. All right, guys, we're going to be making our last canapé, which I hopefully is going to pay particularly well with this as well. What we have is a little toasted brioche soldier. We've got some nice bresaola, a little bit of caramelized onion, some tarragon mayo, and some really cute little pickled shimeji mushrooms. So guys, get all of your things ready. Same thing as before. We're going to get our pan on. You can use exactly the same pan as you used before. And we're going to take that up because we're going to be toasting this little brioche bun. So take it out the packet, get everything ready. We've got some bresaola. Bresaola is really just a nice cured beef. Really, really good. And while I do that, and I'm going to show you exactly what to do here, get your pan hot. We've got another question. Is Chardonnay buttery and creamy due to the grape, or is it the way that it's produced? It's a good question, but it's not maybe produced. Yeah, it's the way that it's. You can answer this question.
Yeah, so I'd like you guys to one day, when you go to Pick and Pay to buy our wine, when you get that 25% discount.
That's correct.
Go and have a look at we've got the 2023, we've about to release the 24 unwooded Chardonnay. So that is as opposite from buttery and oaky as you can get. It's very similar to this wine in style. but the butteriness that you get from Chardonnay is from what we call malolactic fermentation. So the food scientists would know that is when a bacteria takes the malic acid, which is the apple acid, so it's quite hard, and it changes it to the lactic acid. And lactic, obviously, milk, so much more soft and creamy and butterscotchy. So if you prevent that process, that fermentation, we call it a fermentation, from happening, you'll stop all those flavor compounds from occurring, and you'll keep to the more citrus, lemon, lime. So it's 100% a winemaker or cellar master's choice what flavor compounds you want to enhance in the wine.
100%. And that's also, on top of that, I think that when Chardonnay has been put on wood and on oak for a long time, it also develops that creaminess, buttery kind of like oakiness that a lot of people
and that
know.
batonnage that if you batonnage it more, it picks up the more creaminess. So
there we go. Good question. All right. So as I said, we've got this nice little brioche bun. When we talk about brioche, it's basically an enriched dough. There's a lot of butter inside there, so it's quite nice and rich. And what we're going to do is we're going to use this to create a little soldier. So it's super simple. I want you guys to get your bun, pop it on the table, and we're just going to cut out a little from the top there, take that to the side, turn it around, same thing over here. There we go, pop that on the side, cut off the edges, there we are, turn it around, cut off that at the top. So you literally have created a little soldier. There we are. And you can use these as well. You can do exactly the same with the little offcuts, but I'm just going to create one for now. And what we'll do is we're going to pop that into the pan. You've also received a nice little bit of butter over here. Same thing. Open it up and just do a little spoonful of that butter into your frying pan. Make sure it's not too hot so the butter doesn't burn. And as it melts away, I'm just going to put my toasted brioche, well, my little soldier of brioche inside there. And we're just going to keep an eye on that to make sure it's not too hot, because you don't want to burn it. So keep having a little look at it. Make sure that you're not getting it too hot. I'm going to turn mine up ever so slightly because I need to. But I'm just going to make sure that it's not burning. You'll see that a brioche toasts particularly well because there is so much butter in it and is enriched that you can actually toast it quite nicely. So you can use any bread if you want to for this. It doesn't really make a difference, but in my mind, a toasted brioche, I love pairing brioche with Chardonnay. It's got a yeastiness, it's got that kind of like, I don't know, a little bit of richness. It obviously works better with a more bolder Chardonnay, but what I like about this pairing is that we're going to be working with kind of like a charcuterie kind of side of things.
Looking forward to it.
There we go. So nice turn it. See?
It's amazing. Yeah.
Make sure you're not burning it. Each side. That butter also just adds a nice richness to it too. There we go. We've done all four sides. I'm turning mine off. There we go. Okay. So I'm popping mine down over there. If you can see it all. There we go. Cool. So now I love these flavor combinations. I love salty and I love sweet together, and I like creaminess too, and a little bit of what we would call like a little bit of piquant with the shimeji mushrooms. Okay, so what we'll do is we're going to open up that tub. We're going to use our teaspoon, and we're just going to put some of this nice onion relish down the center. And that acts as a little bit of a glue, but it also gives a very nice kind of sweetness and richness to the dish. There we go. And I'll turn it like that so you guys can see it. There we go. Okay, and then we've got our bresaola. And the bresaola, as I said, is like an Italian cured beef. And you can do anything. If you want to cut it into strips, you can. I'm just going to basically roll mine into like a nice little cylinder. Cut off the ends so it fits to the, fits to that. I'm just going to place that right on top, just like that. If you can see, you can taste some of that. It's almost like a biltong. It's really good. Okay. And then what we've got here is we've got this nice little tarragon, little aioli, this nice little tarragon mayo. Same thing, just snip off the end. And you can do some nice little dollops. 1, 2, 3, 4 little dollops, like that. And also the same thing when you're creating a canapé, it's nice to use something which is going to be used as a bit of a, have a practical application, which is like a nice little glue. And then what you'll see here, how cute are these tiny little mushrooms? They are shimeji mushrooms. So you'll find them at Pick and Pay, little wild mushrooms or exotic mushrooms, they call them. And the same thing here, what we've done, as we often do, is we've given them a nice little light pickle. And we use these a lot when we do a lot of our catering, because they work particularly well. They've got some really nice flavor and they look particularly cute as well. So I'm just going to take a couple of these fellas. I'm just going to pop them on there. 1, 2, or 3 on top. And this just gives it a nice little bit of sweetness, a little bit of tartness, and it looks super cute as well. If you wanted to add anything else that you've got around the table, want to add some nuts, I think the nuts would work quite nicely there too. If you wanted to add, maybe not the red onion, but maybe a little bit of that dill would work quite well on top. There we go, 1 or 2 of those things. And there we go. So there's the little brioche toast. It's got some caramelized onion. It's got the bresaola, a little bit of the tarragon mayo, and it's also got some of those nice little shimeji mushrooms. Okay, so I'm going to hand this over to Tim to do our little taste test.
Thank you. That looks absolutely amazing.
Looks cute, eh?
Yeah.
Okay, nice big sip, everybody. Take it down. And take a bite of that canapé once you're done. Tell me what you feel about that. It's one of our favorites. We use that a lot. We do a lot of different events and catering, and that is something that works particularly well.
You know what I love about it? I mean, Pinot Noir, when I think Pinot Noir, I always think like duck breast or some delicate red meat. But that, I can't remember the name of that.
Which one? The meat?
The meat, the
bresaola.
cured meat, yeah, bresaola. Yeah. Actually works very, very well. And one of the descriptors always on Pinot Noir is a forest floor mushroom character.
Yes.
So that works absolutely spectacular. Well
Good.
done. Yeah.
Good. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed it too. As I said, please do take some photos. We'd love to see what you guys are doing at home as well. It's fun to see you guys on the screens. We can see exactly what's going on. You guys are bustling around. Give us some thumbs up if you enjoyed that last little canapé. And if you enjoyed that pairing, there we go. Got a nice thumbs up from the bottom there. It's a really quite easy thing to do. As I said, something that you guys can do. You can change it up. What we do often use is we actually get a steak, a beautiful little steak. We sear it off, we slice it nice and thinly, and we do exactly the same. So if you don't have bresaola, a perfect little piece of steak on there with a bit of caramelized onion on a toasted little brioche, absolutely magic. You can also use that the tarragon, or you can just use a little bit of mayo. Truffle mayo would work particularly well there as well, because the truffle also has that kind of like earthy, foresty kind of like feel.
100%. No, that was amazing. Well done.
Good. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed that. So yeah, I mean, this wine, you've got obviously the unwooded, and you've also got a wooded Pinot Noir as well. Hey?
Yeah, so we actually got 3 Pinot Noirs.
Okay.
I like to say 4 Pinot Noirs in our range. So we've got our Pierre Giron Belle Rose Capricorn, which is 100% Pinot Noir as well. 18 months in the lees.
Yeah.
But then from our still wine range, we've got the unwooded Pinot Noir, the Pinot Noir Reserve. So that's 11 months in barrel.
Okay.
And then we've got our Haute Collection Pinot Noir, which is a single vineyard Pinot Noir. Planted, it's actually very interesting. It's a high density block.
Okay.
So it's 1 by 1 meter spacing.
Okay.
10,000 vines a hectare. So normal vineyards are planted probably 4,000 vines a hectare.
Yes.
So this is 10,000 vines a hectare.
Compact block.
Everything must be done by hand.
Wow. Yeah, because you can't get machines through there.
No,
right?
exactly. Yeah. So every single thing's done by hand. The grape density as well. So normal vineyard gives you 1.5 to 2.5 kilograms per vine.
Yeah.
We get about 300 grams per vine.
Oh, wow.
So small bunches, very, very tight
compact.
little bunches, and it makes the most amazing wine. And that's under Haute Collection, so it's sort of lifestyle, reserve, and then Haute Collection range.
Amazing.
So, we got some really fun vineyards that we work with in
I know. I always look up to you guys, and I say to myself, like, if I was born in a different I would want to be a winemaker. I really would. Awesome. It's very similar to cooking, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
You got to try things. You got to balance flavors. You got to like add things to push things down, and like I don't know. It's exciting for me.
No, it is. It's a balancing act. you need to obviously make the customer happy, but you got to make yourself happy.
Yeah.
The scary thing is, and I think about it every year, because we only got one chance every year to get it right.
Yeah.
And you never get it, you never finish harvest and say, listen, I did everything perfectly.
Yeah.
There's always something you want to improve on. And at the end of the day, after studying, you probably have maybe 35 times to try and get it right.
Yeah, it's true. Hey? It's true.
So it's after harvest, you always make your notes and you think, yeah, I have to do this better, or I have to do that better, I've got to try this.
But every single time you're faced with different challenges or the different temperatures.
Terroir works
exactly.
differently every year.
Yeah.
I mean, the rainfall we've had the last year and a half has been next level.
Yeah.
So it's been a challenge, but exciting, and as long as we can enjoy the products and enjoy it with fantastic food from you guys, it's amazing.
Good. Well, I'm glad. So we do have some winners, as I said, you guys. If you have posted to social media using those hashtags, or if you've asked us some very good questions, we've got some really good, we've got some winners here today. And we have got 3 winners here, and I'm going to let Tim read them out. Number 1, we have
Michelle Kermack.
Congratulations, Michelle. Well done. You 300 rands worth of Smart Shopper points are on the way to you. And next one.
Number 2 is Sean Whiteside.
Congratulations, Sean. And the last one
is Sarah Atchison,
I think. And I've seen that name before. Well done. A regular. We love seeing Sarah back here again. So well done, everybody. Thank you, everybody. It has been an incredible time. Thank you, Tim. Honestly, it's been really, really good. Your wines are incredible. You've got an incredible job. Thank you for coming. It's been really insightful as well.
Only a pleasure sharing the Haute Cabrière love with you guys.
Yeah, I really do appreciate it. And thank you very much to you guys at home. As I said, every single month, we are sold out every single month within 3 days. It's about you guys that keep these things going. So please do continue to support us, and we will continue to support you as well. Continue to support Pick and Pay. Go down, buy those wines. And as I said, not only have you received these incredible wines and this food and this cool event, but also inside your boxes, you'll find that you've also got a voucher for 100 rands worth of Smart Shopper points. You just use that code that's positioned there for the online. And also you have your Smart Shopper card has been preloaded with 25% off these 3 wines as well. So please do go down, purchase that wine online and in store. And hopefully also we will see our Joburg friends up at the Joburg Wine and Food Festival, which is happening on the 5th and the 6th of October at the Wanderers Club. Come down and see all the amazing producers. Come down to see Haute Cabrière and come and taste some wine and some great food as well. So thank you very much. Thank you to Pick and Pay Online. Thank you to Haute Cabrière, and thank you to the Pick and Pay Wine Club for putting on another great event. Thank you very much, everybody, and we'll see you next month. Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Cheers.